Yeah, the lying. Now, so everybody's born a liar. I was a liar for 54 years. I didn't know I was a liar. I did my best not to lie. If somebody asked me about something, I just told them the truth, what I thought was the truth. I didn't deny it, put it that way. I confessed everything. I was the worst liar there was, I thought. I thought I was the worst liar. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're not talking about that kind of lying. The lying I'm talking about is the lying that you don't even know you're doing, that the sins cause you to do. It's the sins cause your thoughts from God, the ones He created you in, okay, which are in your body. Those thoughts are the truth. They're the truth, always. They're in God. The flesh is what's deceived. It's got the sins. It's deception. It's dirt. It's no good. Mine's no good. It's no good. I have a memory full of everything I did. I have to live with that every single day. Okay? Now, but the genetic sins, those sins have power in them to deceive your thoughts. Just the slightest deception can make you not think the truth of who you are in God. It keeps you away. It keeps you away from God. It's a veil. It's a covering or a mask, or it's a it just keeps you away from God. So you can't know Him. Now a lot of people guess who He is. Religious people are, like when I was a Christian, and we have the words of scriptures and everything right there, man, you just really think you know God, but you don't know Him at all. You have to pretend. And those thoughts are so strong, and those thoughts are sins. Sins cause you to think that way. So when you think of religious, even when you think religion, you're thinking of a lying thought. That's a deception. Because that's not about God. That's not who God is. He has nothing to do with religion. Even though He used religion to get the word, He used it to His benefit, but He has nothing to do with it. Do you think He honors somebody that stands up in front of a congregation and lies to him for the whole sermon? What do we mean by lie? He used the scriptures without permission. He doesn't have any authority to use God's words because he's still a sinner. Sinners cannot speak the truth. You can't use the scriptures to teach people. You're fooling everybody. Now the only pastor I've heard since I've known who I am was last summer when I was visiting my mother. He'd been a preacher or pastor of a church for 40 some years. He's basically retired. He was just working at the home where my mom was, and filled in basically for someone off and on. So he's part-time. But he preached for 40 some years. I was listening to him, and he could not interpret the scriptures at all. Everything that was coming out of his mouth was deceived, was deception. He did not have the truth. He didn't even know what the truth was. But he thinks he's a good person. And he was. I mean, he's a nice man. Very nice man. And for 40 years, everybody thought the best of him, I'm sure. He must have been a good pastor in some churches that he belonged to. He had a good sense of humor. Did everything right as far as everybody saw. But I knew instantly he was a liar. I knew instantly he was a liar because he's dressed up in a pastor's outfit. That's not from God. That's religion. You know, I could go on and on and on about that. But anyway, so you can see how this deception, this lying is going on in this world, and we don't even know it. There's famous Billy Graham is a liar. This new Paul Washer, getting everybody turned on to religion, is a liar. Okay? It goes on and on. Listen, every TV evangelist is a liar. Anybody that's collecting money to preach is a liar. That's passing the hat. You know, a preacher that's expecting to get paid. Now that's not of God. Saints never once asked for a dime from anyone. Nobody. The prophets never went around collecting money. That's not of God. All those things got put in the scriptures. All those lies. And there's a ton of lies. A ton of lies in the scriptures that that men that were translators, translating from one language to another, or into a different dialect, Jewish dialect. Now there's hundreds of Jewish dialects, Hebrew dialects back then, that they translated out into all these different dialects. Well, the temptation to change was unbelievable. You know, I'm going to take this dialect, I'm taking this Bible home, and I'm going to change it a little bit and put in what I think, or just interpreting it wrong. A translator can't interpret always what, especially the truth. You can't interpret truth because you can't see it. You can't see the truth in a set of words unless you know the truth. And none of those people had the truth. They were all sinners. Before Jesus came, they were all sinners. The reason Moses could work with it and wrote and things like that was because he was under the command of God. He had faith. But all those people after him, except the prophets, there's a lot of prophets that came after him, but and they also wrote. But God was there with them every moment they wrote, giving them the words to write. Always gives us the words to write. And so, they were, that Bible is not what people think it is. I can go on for hours just talking about the Bible. I don't know all the details. I don't know, all the archaeological things, the translating from one text to the next like some people have. I mean, they got lists and lists and lists of that stuff, which makes no big difference. If it's changed way back then, before those revisions or translations were made, it doesn't make any difference. There's lies in there. There's deception in it.